Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? Professional here. Welcome back to my playthrough of Apollo Justice the Ace Attorney Trilogy. We're continuing from where we left off here. So Maya has been accused, she is going to trial. A lot of you guys have posted in the comments wanting the next part as soon as possible. Sorry I had a few things doing this week, but I'll be putting these parts out more frequently. May 11, 9:40 a.m. High Court of Karain. Accused lobby. I wasn't able to find any conclusive evidence yesterday. But if I can figure out Lady Kee'ra's motive for threatening the High Priest, then maybe. Nick, today well, don't look so down, Maya. I'm going to defend you with everything I've got. You would do well to cease this insanity while you still can. Oh, it's Rafa. As I said yesterday, I'm going to defend my client in court. Well, know this. You shall not witness a miracle of the sort that occurred late last time. The moment she is found guilty, you too will be found guilty of abetting the accused. I never claimed to be a miracle maker, but I am good at discovering the truth. And unlike miracles, the truth is always waiting to be found. The truth, you say? Then it seems you have chosen your fate. This shall be your very last trial. Nick, I'm going to prove you innocent, Maya. You'll see. After all, you have to introduce the plumbed Punisher, warrior of Neo-Twilight Realm, to the folks back home, right? Right. I may be a defendant this time, but I'll be by your side like always, Nick. Thanks, Maya. This place is tough on lawyers. I'll need all the help I can get. Plus, it's always good to have you on the team. Well, it's time. Let's go. May 11? Okay. High Court of Karain. Day 1 court is now in session. All rise. I like how the text is also in Karainese style.
Let the trial of Maya Fey begin.
The defense is ready, Your Majesty. Huh?
Quiet! Can't you see Prosecutor Sadmati's absorbed in silent prayer?
Great. The trial's barely started and the judge is already mad at me. He's very devout for a prosecutor.
Why is the accused standing over there?
Oh, well, Your Majesty. In addition to being the accused, she's also my assistant.
The accused is your assistant, you say? Very well, then. A criminal does indeed make a fitting partner to a lawyer with a defiled soul.
That wasn't very nice. Yeah, well, bad-mouthing lawyers seems to be a custom of sorts here at Karain.
I must say, I'm surprised to see you still here in Karain, Mr. Wright. And even more so to find you in the Hall of Justice once more. I cannot fathom why you would willingly risk your life in yet another trial.
The answer is simple, Your Majesty. I'm a lawyer, and this is what lawyers do. Although, to be frank, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now. Such foolishness.
Oh, Prosecutor Sadmati, are you ready to begin now?
Yes, Your Majesty. The prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay. But first, I promise you both this. I will cast your wicked souls into the fires of hell. Thus shall the soul of the victim attain salvation.
Ha!
And by the way, that's how Prosecutor Sadmati sounds. He sounds like that very calm and soothing voice. That's basically how he talks.
Splendid! I would expect nothing less of you, Prosecutor Sadmati.
Please save the victim's soul, Prosecutor Sadmati. Punish the wicked lawyer who dares to stop these last rites. I think I'll pass on the whole fire and brimstone deal. But I'm not surprised by your words or stance, considering what Apollo's told me about you. So, it was you who instilled that putrid lawyerly guile within him. Putrid what? He too must soon face the fires, lest his soul be lost to redemption. But I shall send you on ahead, so that he will not be lonely when he arrives. Sorry, but I'm afraid it won't be that easy. People say I never know when to give up. Nervous, Maya? A little. Feels like it's been ages since we stood side by side like this in court. Too bad I'm the defendant. Don't worry. We haven't lost the case together yet. You're right. Let's give this everything we've got, Nick.
Now then, Prosecutor Sad Maddie, would you please explain the case at hand?
Of course, Your Majesty. Let us begin the last rites of the victim. Maya Fey has been charged with the crime of murder. The victim of her heinous crime was High Priest Terrorist in Me. So basically, thank you guys in the comments. I do read your comments a lot. And I know that all the names are supposed to be puns on something, but I didn't understand what Terrorist's name meant. I was trying to figure that out last time, but you guys told me in the comments that his name is supposed to mean trust in me, and I see it now. Trust in me. And so, that actually might be the opposite. He actually might be a rebel. It's entirely possible because that letter that Lady Kee'ra sent, and the fact that his name is Trust in Me, it could actually be the opposite. He could be, a rebel, and when you really think about it, a rebel being the High Priest, that's somewhere they wouldn't look. It's actually genius when you think about it. He was conducting the purification rite when he was brutally slain.
And the cause of death?
Let us review the victim's autopsy report and the crime scene photo, shall we? The cause of death was blood loss from a stab wound delivered to the abdomen. The murder weapon was likely the warbed dagger, which was used in the rite. And you guys had told me warbed is supposed to be warbird? Warbird dagger. However, the weapon has yet to be found, though the scene was thoroughly searched. That's a problem that they already have. Where's the murder weapon? So, you're telling me you arrested the murderer without a murder weapon? Now, here's the thing is, you can try somebody without a murder weapon, but it's very hard. Murder weapon is basically that nail in the coffin. So when you have the murder weapon, especially when you have the person's prints on it, that's it, they're done. And if they don't have a murder weapon here, that's gonna look really bad for the prosecution. Pheonix should bring that up right away. He should say, you don't have the murder weapon, where is it exactly? How would Maya have disposed of it? They probably would say she threw it over the mountain or something. That's probably the excuse they would use.
A sacred relic used as a tool of murder. The Holy Mother's wrath shall be most severe.
The murder itself took place the height of the purification rite. The accused had donned Lady Kee'ra's sacred robes, and the victim was there to offer prayers as a high priest of Kuranism. During the rite, the victim and the accused were the only two at the inner sanctum. Therefore, the only person who could have slain the victim is Maya Fey.
I must say, it does cast a great deal of suspicion upon the accused.
Indeed. Now then, allow me to submit this diagram of the crime scene as evidence in this case. Inner Sanctum diagram. A diagram of the scene of the High Priest's murder. It shows where the lanterns and the war statue are. In Kuranism, slaying a priest is a sin most grave and dreadful. Well, that's pretty much the gravest of crimes everywhere in the world. As such, Maya Fey's soul shall be plunged into the lowest level of hell, the Hell of Tickling. Hell of Tickling, what the hell? There she shall be tickled without end for 500 million years. What?
That is a terrible fate indeed. Would the defense care to respond?
And here I thought the lowest level of hell is the hell of back pain. I don't remember killing anyone, and I don't have the dagger or anything like it. Okay, they brought it up. As my client stated, she has no memory of the event as described by the prosecution. But more importantly, she had no motive to kill the High Priest in the first case. And this is also really important, is, in order, you don't need a motive in order to try somebody, but it's very hard to accuse somebody of murder without a motive. The only time that you could really, try somebody without a motive, I guess, would be if the person is crazy. You know, they don't really have a reason for why they did what they did. But it's very hard too, but then they might take an insanity plea. But typically, you almost always need a motive in a murder case. Almost always. It's very important. You can try somebody without a motive, but it's very, very hard to do.
Objection.
I thought you might say that. Nevertheless, the meaningless prattle of lawyers is utterly ineffectual here in the Hall of Justice. For all will be made clear by her benevolence, Rafa Padma Karain's insights.
So it is, and so it shall be. The divination seance reveals the truth for all to see.
Here we go again.
Bailiff, please show in the royal priestesses.
Oh great, Rafa's here. She's gonna do another seance. It's Princess Rafa. Oh, how beautiful her benevolence looks again today. Glory to the Holy Mother for this blessed day. As popular as ever, I see. Rest assured, good people of Karain, I will defeat this murderer and her abettor. They shall not escape on their Freedom Express today.
What a joy it is to have the royal priestess back in the Hall of Justice. May the Holy Mother grant us her divine favor, Dinara Karain.
She sure looks pleased with herself. Especially for someone who didn't know what a Freedom Express was until yesterday. Is there something stuck to my face, barbed head? No. Nothing, your benevolence.
Now then, your benevolence. The divination seance, if you please.
Very well. Nana, my robe. Okay, she's gonna be doing the seance again. And you guys have told me in the comments that I have to watch for the size of the text.
Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name.
I think she's the only character that actually speaks outside of anime cutscenes.
Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
So you guys told me that during these seances, I have to watch for the size of the text. The size of the text is also important because it represents apparently how important the feeling is. So we're gonna see the victim's last moments now. Let's see what the victim saw last. There's Maya. The hell? Okay, well that is scary. That is creepy. That's like honestly, the Ace Attorney games never really scare me. That's creepy as hell. That you take the paper down and you see that just fly right towards you and stab you. The victim's minima has spoken.
The divination seance is complete.
Great. Another clearly incriminating seance vision. It could not be any clearer, O foul defense. The accused donned the sacred robes of Lady Kee'ra and then attacked the victim. And also, you guys have told me in the comments that Lady Kee'ra's name is a pun for Lady Killer. I didn't realize that. Lady Kee'ra, Lady Killer, technically.
Oh, how terrible, very terrible it must have been. The figure of Lady Kee'ra lit against the dim lantern light, the scent of incense growing ever more potent as she drew near. One can almost sense the horror Abbot in me must have felt.
The facts as presented by your benevolence are indisputable. But, that wasn't me. Do something, Nick. Yeah, I'm gonna. I'm working on it. That couldn't have been any clearer. Looks like I'm in for another uphill battle. The accused committed this vile act during our ancient tradition, the purification rite. Come to think of it, the rites guide explains the multi-part purification rite in detail. The transformation rite. Staging area, full moon priestess. The high priest reads scripture while a priestess dons the robes of Lady Kee'ra. The rite of water. Lady Kee'ra enters the spring and the high priest purifies her along with her dagger. The rite of fire. The priestess encircles the sacred flames to purify her soul. Indeed. It would seem that the murder occurred during the transformation rite. The rite dictates that the high priest stand in front of the spring. Therefore, the accused must have attacked him from the direction of the broken lantern. Well, Barbed Head? Would you care to object? Of course, because I know my client is innocent. Heh, so you say. You truly do not know when you are beaten, do you? I managed to pull it off last time with Albi. I'll just have to do it again.
You intend to find fault for benevolence's insight yet again? It would seem lawyers are Kunan creatures indeed.
What's the point of a trial? We're supposed to find fault. What exactly is a Kunan? Someone who's a real piece of work, so to speak. Oh. They can call me anything they want. The only thing I care about is uncovering the truth. So, Barbed Head, are you foolish enough to risk your life for your so-called truth? Because my insights are the truth. To deny them is to willingly dig your own grave. Rafa's insight. The victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. As the first part, the transformation rite, ended, he lowered the sutra. Suddenly, he heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incense-laden robes. It was then that the victim felt an intense pain. I believe this is when he was stabbed. As his life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed, till finally he passed from our world. That is everything the victim experienced in his final moments. Shows where Maya and the High Priest were during the rite. Dressed in the sacred robes of Lady Kee'ra, the accused rushed the victim head-on. Oh. Okay. Maya and Taristin me. Okay. The brutal stabbing she perpetrated could not have been any clearer. Yes, it is plain for all to see. No, it wasn't me. A sudden drowsiness came over me, during the transformation rite. I didn't even get a chance to put on Lady Kee'ra's robes. You waste our time with such meaningless statements, accused. You cannot explain away the truths revealed by the royal priestess' divine insight. Oh. How did you end up finding contradictions last time? The deceased's final memories include all 5 senses. Oh, you mean those words that appear in the pool of souls. It looked to me like the bigger the word, the stronger the sensation was to the victim. Okay? Yeah. That's how it looks to me, too. The sensations themselves are never wrong, only their interpretations. That's why I tried to point out mistakes in Rafa's insight last time, so the sensations aren't wrong, only how it's interpreted is wrong. So there could be a contradiction between what Abbott and me felt and her insights, huh? You got it. And I'm going to find them this time, too. Should I check how to point out contradictions in Rafa's insight? Let's check, just in case. Yeah, let's go over this one more time, because these seances are really confusing. And, from what I hear, you guys have told me in the comments that these seances are the most controversial part of the game. Some people like them, some people hate them. I can switch between insights with left stick, while I look for inconsistencies between them and the sensations and the visions. Seance visions can be paused with X. I can even jump to different points in the seance vision, using circle and square. When I see an insight that doesn't seem right, I should select triangle on it. Then all I have to do is point out the sensation that contradicts with the insight. The sensations this time seem to fluctuate more than the ones from Albi's trial. In which case, I better keep an eye on changes in their intensity, too. The victim commenced a purification rite, bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. Wait, he heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incense-laden robes. But there was wind. There's nothing in here that says that he felt wind coming by. And wait, did she actually fly towards him? Because it doesn't look like she's even running towards him. It just looks like she's just hovering towards him. Wind?
Objection!
Your benevolence. Isn't that statement inconsistent with the vision? Inconsistent? I think not. Exactly. That's where the inconsistency lies. Oh, this is gonna get wrong, yep. Okay. Okay, let me try this one more time. What is it, Maya? I'm still trying to figure out this whole insight thing out. When the words change size, that means the intensity of those sensations is changing too, right? That's what it looks like to me. So then that's probably something we should keep an eye on too. And sure, we should be on the lookout for changes that shouldn't take place, but they do anyways. And changes that don't occur when they should. How very perceptive of you. I guess all that training sharpened Maya's mind along with her powers. Let's compare the visions to insight, while looking for changes in sensory intensity. Okay, sounds like a plan. Okay, let's see here then. Size of the text. Okay, let me see here. Does the wind get bigger? Let me see. The intense pain? Wind. No, just disappeared. Okay, wait, the incense got really big, and then he just feels pain. Incense is smell. He heard the accused's footsteps and smelled her incense-laden robe. Wait a second. Wait. The footsteps don't get bigger, but look, the incense does. And incense is supposed to mean smell, right? I guess I almost never heard that word before this game. Incense is supposed to be smell. That's what it means. Pain. The pain is just big. It doesn't change size. And it goes away when he died. Okay, hang on. I hope I don't get this wrong. Yeah, the footsteps are getting bigger. Please be right.
Objection!
Oh, I got it right. Okay. So when the music stops, you're on the right track. So when the music keeps playing when you make an accusation, you know that it's wrong. The victim supposedly heard the accused approaching footsteps. But did he really? What nonsense is this? Is it not abundantly clear? No, it's not. Because there is something strange about those footsteps. This is strange. Explain yourself, barbed head. The footsteps are strange because the timing doesn't make sense. They don't get louder. Yeah, they don't get louder. They're not getting any louder.
And why exactly does that matter?
Please focus your attention on the incense the victim smelled. The scent grew stronger as the accused approaches. If the accused really had approached the victim, the sound of her footsteps would have grown louder as the scent of incense grew stronger, yeah.
Why, that makes perfect sense. How can this be explained, your benevolence?
Well, there must be a reason.
Objection!
It is as they say. Even a putrid worm of a lawyer will turn. What does that even mean? He's not exactly singing your praises, that's for sure. Still, we cannot discount this information solely on account of its lawyerly source. Your benevolence. Perhaps you must listen more carefully to the abbot that's minima. Listen more carefully. What's he talking about? Yes, it would appear so. I shall try to refine the sensation. Refine the sensation? I can more accurately gauge sensations by deepening my communication with the minima. Well, why didn't you do that from the start? I didn't know you could do that. Why have we never done this before? He said it now, too. By refining a sensation, a clearer picture of the truth can be discovered. Oh, blessed Minima, I beseech you, hear me now and respond to my call. Bells? Footsteps change.
Footsteps change to bells? What could this mean?
Bells. The only bells at the scene of the crime were... Yeah, that's what I thought. I remember he had those bell shoes. Or, yeah, he was wearing bells. Ah, that jingling must have come from Abbot Inme's bells. Oh, they show the picture now, too. You mean those big things he had on his ankles? Well, there you have it. The sound of bells was from the High Priest's own footsteps. That means... if the footsteps belonged to the victim himself, it means it was the victim who was moving, not the accused. The victim was the one who went running towards the broken lantern from the spring. Why? A far cry from where benevolence's insight would have us believe. So wait, so that's what I thought. She was like hovering towards him, but he was actually running towards her. The killer didn't come towards him, he went towards the killer. Shows where Maya and the High Priest were during the rite.
Well, why would the victim have approached the accused?
So now the arrow's different. It's Taristan who charged Lady Kee'ra. Maybe he was trying to defend himself.
Please explain.
He could have felt threatened by Lady Kee'ra standing there with a dagger. If so, he might have fought to overpower her before she attacked. Still your voice, as this is nothing but a theory, and a poor one at that. Maybe not led astray by this lawyer's obvious postulation.
Objection!
While his insolence is inexcusable, I would ask that you calm yourself, your benevolence. Is there something you would care to say, Prosecutor Sadmati? Even if it was Abbot and me who moved, it does not negate the accused's crime. What do you mean? The accused was likely waiting for the high priest to approach. Ah! And as he neared, she plunged a dagger into him. It is as simple as that. Oh, right. It really doesn't change much, does it? Yes, it is as the prosecutor said. In fact, it is as I meant to say all along as well. Right. And that's why you were so shocked when you first heard of it. Understand now, lawyer? That contradiction you conjured up has come to naught. Once I hone my insights, it will vanish like the dying rays of the sun. Insight revised. The victim commenced... Okay. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern. As his life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed till finally he passed from our world. See? The fact that it was Abbot in me who moved changes nothing. Come on, Pheonix. You gotta keep your cool. That contradiction I pointed out must mean something. That one sensation changed after Princess Rafa refined her vision. It stands to reason that something else might have changed too because of the refinement. I should focus on any sensations that have changed, while searching for more contradictions between them and her insights. The victim commits the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. Water! Water, water, water. I saw it. I saw it right away, the water. The pond? He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern. Hold on a second. Hold on. Is that the broken lantern? I mean, snow is technically frozen water, but was it the snow that he stepped in? It was probably the spring. The broken lantern is towards the door, not towards the spring. Let me see.
Objection!
Hold it, but so literally is the seance might be seeing snow as water. That's what it might be seeing. He might have ran towards the snow, or it was the spring. It was either the spring or the snow. How do we know the purification rite was performed exactly as it was supposed to be? That's easy. The customs governing the rite are very clear, and Abbot Inmate would have adhered to them. Well, that's strange.
Mr. Wright, would you care to explain just what is so strange?
Yes. I would ask you to consider the sound of the victim's footsteps. The sound of bells changes to the sound of water at one point. What's this? It's simple. The victim must have stepped in some water. Oh. Yes. And the only source of water in the inner sanctum is the spring. Well, technically snow becomes water if it's melted too. That's technically too. And the snow is gone. Yeah, the snow is gone, so snow becomes water too. Shoveled area of snow. What if the snow isn't shoveled? What if it melted? And therein lies the contradiction. What contradiction? I believe the rite started out as it should have. The victim stood with his back to the spring, and the accused stood right in front of him. But we now know that the victim then moved into the spring.
But Paul Kunka, that is absurd.
This means that the accused location differs from what her benevolence's insight indicates.
Then, where do you propose the accused stood once she donned Lady Kee'ra's robes?
Based on the sound of the victim's footsteps, I believe Maya was standing here. It's probably the spring. Because when he ran towards the killer, you heard water, and unless the killer had time to move the body towards the spring, I think it's the spring. Let me see.
Take that!
Until this moment, we've all just assumed that Abbott and me and Miss Fey were standing where they were supposed to be, as shown in this rights guide. In short, the victim should have been standing with his back to the spring, and the accused in front. However, if that is how they were really standing, he couldn't have stepped into the spring as he approached her. The problem is, the victim did step into the spring. This can only mean that Miss Fey had actually been standing in the water.
But if this is true, then their positions would have been completely reversed.
Shows where Maya and the High Priest were during the rite.
What is going on here, Miss Fey?
Now the map keeps changing. Now we're getting an idea of what happened.
Were you really standing in the spring?
I'm sorry, but I barely remember anything about the rite. The High Priest never makes such an obvious blunder during a rite.
That's enough!
Be that as it may, this does not overturn my insights. It doesn't. Let us just say the accused was standing in the spring. So what? So what? That completely reversed their positions is what? That their positions differed from what is customary is rather curious. However, what does that change? It certainly does not erase the accused's brutal crime. We still haven't proven Maya's innocence. All we've basically shown is we've shown that they're just standing in different positions than what we thought they were. But we're on the right track here. I guess you have a point there. You lawyers are an absurd breed. Never thinking ahead, you cling on to the first insignificant contradiction you can muster. Urgh. Sounds like Princess Rafa has a pretty good grasp of what lawyers are all about. Oh, Maya, where would I be without your brutally frank commentary right now? Is this contradiction really meaningless? But something really doesn't feel right. Did I take a wrong turn somewhere? I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth. It's been revised again. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the poolside lantern. Now the contradiction is no more. But the truth of the matter still stands, no matter how stubbornly you deny it.
What do you have to say for yourself now, Mr. Wright?
Nick. Your Majesty, this lawyer may have raised a trivial objection, but her benevolence's insights have no further inadequacies of any kind.
Yes, so it would seem.
Wait a second, but there is another contradiction. Still you flounder about, wretched beast. Though you rack that putrid brain of yours, nothing worthwhile will come of it. Maya, please tell me you remember something that might help us out here. Sorry, I really don't remember a thing. But now that that place I was standing in has changed, who knows? That alone may cause a new discrepancy with Princess Rafa's insights. That's right. We now know, that Maya was standing in the spring. A major change like that could very well produce a contradiction. I should take another look at the inner sanctum diagram in the court record, and confirm where Maya and Abbott and me were standing, and then focus on finding any discrepancies between their positions and insights. Is there something different this time? Wait, wait, wait. Wait, wait, wait. The wind that we saw earlier. There's Maya. Wind. That light is different. It's the broken lantern. I think it's the broken lantern. The lantern will be blowing in the wind. Okay, hang on.
Objection!
Your benevolence. I found a new contradiction. You did. No doubt it is but another one of your vile attempts to slander my insights. Nope. Take a good look at what the victim saw. It might just change your mind. So wait, hang on a sec. I'm getting confused now. Because this place had snow, but it doesn't have snow before. And basically we thought that the killer was standing, that Lady Kee'ra was standing in the pond. But it turns out she was standing near this. And the snow's been shoveled, so snow becomes water when it melts. So, could it be? The lantern flame behind the accused is flickering. There is nothing unusual about that, especially as the wind has stirred. No, that is where you're wrong. If the accused had been standing in the spring, then what you see here should be one of the lanterns flanking the statue. I fail to see your point. My point is, something is wrong here. The two lanterns flanking the statue were both outfitted with glass wind guards. So neither lantern's flame should have been flickering in the wind in the first place. Heh. She seems pretty tickled, Nick. I don't remember saying anything funny. I fail to see what you wish to prove here, but... Very well. I shall refine the vision and reveal the truth for all to see. Well, why couldn't you do that from the start? Oh, blessed Minima, I beseech you, fix your sight upon the lantern there. Huh? That lantern doesn't have a wind guard on it. And rightly so. For the wind guard was removed to reveal the sacred flame within, for the rite of fire. Therefore, there is nothing odd about the flame, flickering. This is say, what? But when we searched the crime scene, those lanterns had their wind guards on. That's because the police put them back on. No! No, no, no! You cannot tamper with a crime scene like that. Oh my god, even if the place is holy, you can't do something like that until the investigation is finished. You have to leave everything as it is. No! The police has ruined evidence. The sacred flames have burned uninterrupted for hundreds of years, Offense. We could not risk them being extinguished, even during an investigation. Oh my god. That would never fly back home. Yeah, it wouldn't. Well, Barbed Head? Are you done quibbling? If so, then it's time to bow down before this, testimony of the Minima. Nick! Don't worry, Maya. I'm just getting started. Alright, let's go over everything we know so far. Maya was wearing Lady Kee'ra's robes and standing in the spring. The High Priest is thought to have moved towards her. So I should look for sensations that stand in contradiction to this arraignment. Won't give up. I'm going to find a contradiction that will undermine the accused against Maya. I think the key is that lantern. The purification rite is a three-part ceremony held when the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pony Pony. It begins the transformation rite. The high priest reads scripture, while priestess dons the robe of Lady Kee'ra, which have been purified with incense. Next, the rite of water, in which the priestess enters the spring dressed as Lady Kee'ra, and the high priest purifies both Lady Kee'ra and her dagger. The ceremony ends with the rite of fire, in which the priestess circles the sacred flames to purify her soul. The two then devote themselves to prayer until the rite comes to a close 2 days later at noontime. So basically, the whole thing's a fancy way for Lady Kee'ra to take a bath once a year.
Hmm.
Wait a second. Wait. The spring was already red when Abbott and me and Maya arrived at the inner sanctum. Could he have been killed on the snow? And he was just thrown in the spring as a cover? Could that have been it? The spring was already red, this is a cover? I'm gonna say it's the wind, because I think the other lanterns would have been too close to the wall to absorb any wind or any flame.
Objection!
Damn, it's not this. Okay. Got it wrong. Okay. Okay. It's a different lantern. I see it now. Look at it. It's the... He turned around. When he was reading this, he actually turned around while he was reading this. We couldn't see him turn because he was reading the scroll. Wait, look at it. Look. See that? That's the broken lantern right there. It's this. He lowered the sutra.
Objection!
Damn. I got it wrong again. This is hard. This is the hardest part now. I'm sorry, guys. Consult. Maya, I can't find any contradictions. Come on, Nick. A bit early to throw in the towel, don't you think? But I didn't notice anything wrong with the sensations that appeared as words just now. Well then, maybe the contradiction is in what Abbott in me saw. I think there's something fishy about the things that we can more clearly see now. Also, we should focus on not only the sensations, but the updated insights as well. Right. Thanks, Maya.
Objection!
Okay, there it is. So I was right, it was the broken lantern, but what was really annoying me about that is I was trying to figure out which statement it was. I was trying to use the right, that he was doing the right, and then I tried to use the not broken lantern to try to show the difference, but it wants you to point out the first destroyed lantern on the right side, and the part when he rushed, basically, the killer. Yeah, so I could say the seances are just a bit confusing. This was the worst part of the seances, right here. What could this possibly mean? That lantern clearly contradicts the insight. But this contradiction will overturn the entire casement building.
Are you alright, Mr. Wright? One minute you shout out, and the next minute you fall silent.
Perhaps it is like the bellow of one who is barreling down a hill with no way of stopping. Is that not right, Prosecutor Sad Maddie? Don't get cold feet now, Pheonix. Even as it overturns the entire case you built so far. The only way is to keep moving forward. Because that's where we'll find the truth. Sorry, but I'm not barreling down a hill. In fact, I'm in full control of everything with the indisputable contradiction I found. Is that so? The lantern behind the accused clearly, no, blatantly contradicts your insight. Does it now? One of the lanterns on the entrance side of the inner sanctum was broken. And if you watch what Abbott and me saw in his final moments, you will notice that the lantern behind the praying form of Miss Fey is broken. The lantern behind Lady Kee'ra's, however, is still intact, so when he was reading the sutra, he turned around. We didn't realize it, but he turned. In short, We are seeing 2 different lanterns in the seance vision. How could this be? And even if it were so, how would that contradict my insights? Let me start by saying, the claim I'm about to raise will overturn the case I've built thus far.
Will the defense please explain himself?
Based on the broken lantern, we can tell Maya and Abbott Inme's positions. Where the accused and the victim were standing.
But did you just not finish asserting that the accused was standing somewhere else?
I did, and I built my argument on that faulty premise. But thankfully, it has led us here. To the actual spot where Maya Fey was standing. She was standing in front of the spring.
I must say, the defense keeps changing its assertions in such a capricious manner. Its credibility may come into question.
I'm willing to take that risk, Your Majesty, because I believe this will be the last time. I'd like to start by pointing out the actual spot where the accused was standing.
Very well. Show us where you now believe the accused was actually standing.
Based on the location of the broken lantern, where was Maya really standing? Right here, about. Because we saw both the
Take that!
I wasn't thinking straight before, but now it's all falling into place. We know the victim had stepped into the spring. That means Maya Fey had to have been standing in the water as he approached. However, his memory, which has only now become clear, reveals that Miss Fey was standing by the side of the broken lantern. In other words, she was standing where she was supposed to be according to custom. Does that not bring us back to the very beginning? No. This is where things take a different turn. The killer was standing in the water. And I mean that literally. The victim had to have been moving towards the spring. That means that while he was moving, he had his back turned towards the accused. What's this? Do you mean to say the victim turned around during the rite? But such an image appears nowhere in the seance vision. Actually, it does appear. It's just that no one noticed until now. When he's reading the sutra.
No one noticed. How could no one have noticed something so big?
There was a moment when the scripture the victim was holding was all we could see. Thanks to that, none of us could tell that he was in fact turning around in that moment. Yup, my theory was right.
Objection!
If it is as the defense asserts, then our benevolence insight no longer makes sense. How do you intend to explain that?
Objection!
I don't need to explain anything, because it's just as you said, Prosecutor said, Maddie. Her benevolence insights don't make any sense because they contain a huge error. Such insolence!
A huge error, you say? Do explain.
The huge error is... the error in her seance, what is it? Think on this one really carefully. What's the huge error in her seance? What is it? I'm on the right track here, but... the number of people there? Because when he turned around, the killer was there. I believe this is what happened at the scene of the crime. The victim was reading a sutra when suddenly he sensed someone behind him. He immediately looked back to see someone dressed as Lady Kee'ra standing there. Wishing to see who it was, he approached the robed figure. That's when he was stabbed. This cannot be. Oh, but it can, and it is. The insight stating the accused stabbed the victim is wrong. And that is the real truth lying behind the testimony of the dead. Po. Polkunka!
Are you suggesting that there was someone else at the scene of the crime?
Yeah, that's what he's saying the whole time. Have I misunderstood the voice of the Midama yet again? This cannot be. Whew, that was a close one. But I managed to divine the true meaning behind the seance vision somehow. I should have added these new facts to the court record. Shows where Maya and the High Priest were during the rite. Your benevolence, please allow me to take it from here. I will overturn the brass accusation of this faithless, putrid-minded lawyer. Yes, I shall place my trust in you.
Are you sure about this, Prosecutor Sadmati?
My work as an international prosecutor has taken me to courtrooms around the world. And in that time, I've learned to perform last rites for souls in trials lacking a seance.
Yes, of course. Forgive my ludicrous inquiry.
Moreover, I have with me a forensic investigator from overseas. I will show you all the most magnificent last rites ever seen. I guess he really does think highly of Emma and her forensic expertise. I'm impressed that he's come to understand their value. Then again, he is an international prosecutor who's solved tough cases around the world. Time to hunker down, huh?
Now then, let us continue with today's proceedings. Could the defense please tell us who the third party dressed as Lady Kee'ra was? Your new claim has negated the insights of the royal priestesses, so I trust you have some evidence to support it, correct?
Yes, of course. So here's the thing is, it's not a lawyer's job to say who the real killer is. The lawyer might make a suggestion, maybe say, this person probably did it. But it's not the lawyer's job, really. So, like, when the judge says, who did it then? Well, that's not for the judge to say either. But this is, this is a dictatorship, which is Karain. But Karain is basically guilty until proven innocent, where it's different. Where you are guilty from the start, you have to prove your innocence, where in America, it's innocent until proven guilty. So you're declared innocent at the start, and the prosecution has to try to prove you guilty. And honest, innocent until proven guilty is the best system ever, because we prove it with facts and evidence the person did it. Guilty without, guilty until proven innocent is, a stupid system, because if the person didn't do anything wrong, they shouldn't be the ones fighting to defend themselves. But, yeah, basically is, Pheonix doesn't have to prove who the killer is. All he has to do is create doubt. That's the job of a lawyer, is to create doubt. So he doesn't have a responsibility to prove who it was, just that Maya didn't do it. This third party must have really wanted to kill the High Priest. I might be able to identify who it was, if I had evidence of their murderous intent.
Well, we're waiting, Mr. Wright.
The evidence that can reveal the identity of the third party is this. Lady Kee'ra's warning?
Take that!
3 days before the purification rite, the victim received a warning letter from an unidentified individual.
He did!
Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the High Priest. The letter said, do not perform the rite. But the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the High Priest was murdered.
Who do you suppose sent that letter?
A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised Lady Kee'ra herself.
Peace! I don't understand. I heard the Lady Kee'ra that had been in the news of the late only hunted rebels. If so, why would she have killed the High Priest?
Excellent question. Maybe it would help to think of it this way. What if the High Priest had secretly been a rebel? The High Priest, he couldn't possibly have been a rebel.
The High Priest of the vile follower of Keranism, a rebel. Do you even comprehend the blasphemy of which you speak? Well, do you?
I too found it hard to believe at first. But as I continued my investigation, it started to become more and more plausible.
Objection.
The third party was the rebel hunting Lady Kee'ra, and the High Priest was a rebel? Your mockery of Keranism. No. Of the kingdom of Kerain itself knows no bounds. Whoops. The shameless Polkokan lawyer. He's making mockery of our religion.
As a faithful Keranist, I take issue with these claims. And I'm loath to admit them in today's proceedings.
I don't like where this is going. The defense's claims are but vile blasphemy, tantamount to spitting on the Holy Mother. Is it really that big of a deal, Maya? That in me was a distinguished monk, and very well respected too, so yeah. Ugh, please don't let this turn into an international incident. Well, I think it already has. But fear not, good people of Kerain. The rantings of this putrid-brained lawyer who seeks to sully the soul of the deceased shall come to no avail once I conclude these last rites. The prosecution's assertion that the accused killed the victim remains unchanged. But the victim was stabbed in his abdomen. How is that possible when he had his back turned towards Miss Fey? Someone else must have killed him.
Objection.
Are you sure about that? You may have invalidated the seance, but do not let it go to your putrid head. The karmic flow of this trial is as yet still in my hands. How can he be so confident? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. And I shall prove that by calling new witness to the stand. An eyewitness who will deliver a definitive answer that will dispel the defense's doubts. Oh, who's this eyewitness? An eyewitness.
Very well. Let us call this eyewitness to the stand.
Who's the eyewitness? Oh no, not him. Oh great, this guy. It's him again. He's probably a rebel.
Well, no. He has to be the shaggiest witness I've ever laid eyes upon. Please state your name and occupation.
Oh, you know, that's so-and-so. Whatchamacallit? He's a rebel. That's a disguise. Anon Inmus TBD? At least that's what they've been calling me.
TBD? As in to be determined. Can't you just tell us your real name?
The witness has suffered a blow to the head, rendering him amnesiac. Therefore, well, he's not a credible witness. You can't bring in somebody who has amnesia into court as a witness. I named him Anon Inmus TBD in my report, but he thinks TBD is part of his name.
Objection!
You're letting an amnesiac testify? Yeah, exactly. Pheonix is saying what I said. Have no fear. I've already questioned him at length. This would never fly. You cannot not do something like this. While it's true he has utterly forgotten his name and past, his memory of what he witnessed is still very much intact. It's probably because he fell off the mountain. He's the rebel. He's the rebel. I bet you I know who that guy is. This guy? This guy right here, a strange guy. You can't see his face on account of his beard. Pretty suspicious. This guy is this guy right here. This is him. The wanted prisoner. Senior member insurgents leadership and former paratrooper in a foreign land. Wanted for crimes against the kingdom. Consider armed and dangerous. Contact authorities and any information. And the rebels wear green military clothes. And he's wearing green military clothes. That's him.
Considering the dearth of information, any new knowledge may be of help. Therefore, I will now permit his testimony. Now, Mr. Inmus, please tell us what you saw.
This is gonna be good. Let's see what his testimony is. Witness testimony. The night of the murder. That night, I was at the top of Mount Pony Pony, the mountain next to the inner sanctum. I hate crowds, so I climbed up there to pray in peace. I know it's a no-no, but since there was no one around, I used my binoculars to spy on the right at the inner sanctum. That's when I saw the accused stab the high priest with a dagger. There's no way you saw Miss Fey stab the victim with a dagger. I swear I don't know what he's talking about, or don't remember at any rate.
Mount Pony Pony, the beautiful mountain that is also known as the Little Sanctum.
Hang on a second. Mount Pony Pony. You wouldn't be able to see with binoculars from Mount Pony Pony. Yeah, it's less. It's let me move my camera down. 2,298 meters, and this is 2,310 meters. You wouldn't be able to see up, and also the wall here. The wall that's, you wouldn't see it. I already see his testimony's BS. They must be talking about that smaller mountain from the poster, but now it's showing it.
Mr. Inmus, I was wondering,
What can I do for you?
the inner sanctum lies at a high elevation where clouds and fogs can obscure the view. Are you sure you were able to see what happened from the mountain top next to it?
Good point. His Majesty raises an excellent question. Well, Mr. Ichmus? What is his name supposed to mean? Ichmus. What is that supposed to mean? On the day of the rite, there wasn't a cloud in the sky.
I had a perfect view.
If you don't believe me, check the weather forecast in the paper that day. Nick, don't we have the newspaper for that day? Yeah, let's take a look. The area around the inner sanctum will enjoy clear skies today. The warmer temperatures make excellent prayer weather. Be warned, however, that we'll see a cold front moving overnight. Okay. See? Told you so.
Well, it would appear the witness has offered testimony worth hearing.
Mr. Akmus, I too have a question for you. Didn't he already question the witness? Well, that's what I'm here for, right? Shoot. How was the accused holding the dagger? Was she holding it underhand, its blade protruding from the bottom of her hand? Yep, I believe she was. No, she was. It's called a reverse grip. Ah, I thought as much. A reverse grip. He would know the term for how to holding a knife. This guy's definitely had military experience.
Hold it!
Hold it right there. What bearing does that have on this case? Cease your interruptions, you putrid-headed lawyer. Do you not see the significance in how the blade was held? Why don't you enlighten me, oh enlightened one? Heh, I knew you were a fool. I can already picture you in your next life. In the next life? Yes, after your soul rifts for centuries in the pits of hell. You shall be reborn as a witless sea urchin, with barbs limited to your posterior. You shall live a short, inconsequential life, only brutally devoured by a sea otter. That was a bit excessive. I simply asked what the dagger grip had to do with the case. Now pay attention. How the accused held the dagger is of vital importance. With such information, we can infer exactly what actions she took. You were saying that the victim was killed while he had his back to the accused. Is that correct? Yes. As such, the accused dagger grip tells us something very important. The accused approached the victim from behind, swung her arms around him, and plunged the dagger deep into his abdomen using a reverse grip. What? Thus, Miss Ikma's testimony clears up any doubts that might remain.
Ha! And it coincides for Benevolence's insights as well.
No, it doesn't, because we saw the Lady Kee'ra in front of him, too. This is a disaster. I thought I'd blown those insights out of the water, but now they're back to haunt me.
Now then, the defense may cross-examine the witness.
The night of the murder. I'm gonna, without even pressing, I'm gonna do this right away. The mountain range poster. It's shorter. How would he see it?
Objection!
Ah, great. Damn. Okay, hang on. That should have been it.
Hold it!
You had a pair of binoculars with you. That's pretty convenient. You weren't planning to spy on the right all along, were you? Actually, I just happened to have them for bird watching. Bird watching, huh? I see. You're not going to keep pressing him on this. He's sketchy as heck, but I don't really have anything I can stick my teeth into yet. Oh, okay then. Har 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 har. I love the great outdoors, just the kind of guy I am. A guy called Animus TBD. He's really starting to get on my nerves. As I looked through my binoculars, I couldn't believe what was unfolding before me.
Hold it!
Did you really see what you say you did? Are you saying I'm lying about this? Well, I'm not. It's etched permanently in this old noggin. But I didn't do what you say I did. I didn't even get a chance to touch the dagger on the day of the rite. What do I know of it? All I know is what I saw. I've never even seen you before in my life. What possible reason could I have to lie? They expect there to be any witnesses way up there. But I don't remember doing that at all. I know. I have a feeling that witness is lying. There has to be an inconsistency somewhere in his testimony. I should take another look at the court record. Okay, I'm taking a big risk here. I have only one chance on this. I'm pretty sure it's this. It's for this one, so, you know, really when you think about it, I use binoculars to spy in the right inner sanctum. You could really use this for both of those statements. That's probably why I got it wrong, but the mountain range poster, you see, the mountain is actually shorter than the inner sanctum. So,
Objection!
Is something the matter?
sorry, that scream just great. That's right though. That's right there is how would he have seen when the mountain is shorter? That should be right. Gonna press him on everything. Are you sure you're not mistaken, Mr. Ikmas? Was it really Mount Pony Pony that you climbed? Oh, I'm sure of it. It was a really Pony Ponus mountain. What does that even mean? You know, now that I think about it, it was a mighty fine view. I hate crowds, so I climbed up there to pray in peace.
Hold it!
If you hate crowds, why bother climbing up to the top? Couldn't you have just as easily prayed at the bottom of Mount Pony Pony? Wrong, bucko. This is a once-a-year epic event. I wanted to pray as close to the actual thing as possible. If you're so gung-ho about it, why didn't you go pray at the Plaza of Devotion? Like I said, I hate crowds. I wanted to pray in peace. Oh, Holy Mother, why do I only get the annoying ones? And my burning faith demanded that I climb up the mountains closest to the inner sanctum. Also,
Hold it!
Since nobody was around, there is nobody who can corroborate your actions either. Hee-ho, you're exactly right. In that case, Mr. Amos, let me ask you this. Was there a reason you didn't want to be seen? About that. If you get caught climbing the surrounding mountains on the day of the rite, you can get in big, big trouble. Har 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 har. That's it? Yeah, it's totally embarrassing getting yelled at when you're a grown-up. Har 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 har. Yeah, you're a real grown-up, alright. And since nobody was around, I lost all inhibition and... Is it the curtain? I wonder if it could be the curtain.
Objection!
Ah, great. No, it's not that one. Okay, yep. I know I'm right. He couldn't have possibly seen that, but...
Objection!
Damn. You know, the thing is, I gotta say, this was the stupidest cross-examination yet. This cross-examination was so stupid. This one was so dumb here. Because Mount Pony Pony is literally shorter than that mountain, and not only that, it has the wall right here, so it shows you that the other mountain is actually taller, and it actually has the wall around it. So this should be the answer. This should be the piece of evidence that you should be able to use. But the game wants you to use the one with the wall. So, like, it should have let you use this one or the one with the wall. That's what it should have let you use. But it was stupid. Like, I knew I was right on this. That it was too short and the wall was around it. So I was right. I had it right from the start. But for some reason, it wanted you to use the ritual curtain one. Your Majesty, I had my doubts about this bushy-bearded witness. But now I know we can't trust him. What? You ain't just judging me solely on my bodacious beard, are you? Not at all, Mr. Ichmus. It's much more than your sketchy appearance. It's your sketchy testimony.
Hey, his testimony, you say?
Yes. Recall how the inner sanctum was that day. Specifically, that it was completely enclosed by the ritual curtain.
Why, yes, I believe you're right.
The curtain would have been completely blocked the witness' view from Mount Pony Pony. Therefore, he couldn't possibly have seen the murder happen. Hoo-ah!
Mr. Idmus, you have been knowingly making false statements to this court?
You got me!
The witness will lower his voice.
I didn't actually see the accused herself. He didn't actually see the accused herself. What's that supposed to mean? Let me set the record straight, I beg you. Oh, great. This is gonna be good. Let's see what he's got to say now. The night of the murder. Amended. I saw their shadowy silhouettes projected against the ritual curtain. Oh my god. The figures were created by the light of the full moon on that clear and still night. She was just a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse gripping that dagger. Okay, no! This testimony will not work. You saw somebody's shadow? That's not credible testimony. Shadows, that's what you saw.
That's right.
I could see what was going on by the shadows projected on the ritual curtain.
In the future, Mr. Idmus, I'd rather you offer up accurate testimony from the start.
Forgive me, my main man, Mr. Magistrate. Chalk it up to Mr. Fuzzy Memory. Though he saw but shadows, it is still a valuable testimony. No, it's not! No, it's not. It's garbage. You have to be kidding me. What are we going to do now, Nick? All I can think of is to look for inconsistencies between the actual rite and what Mr. Ichmus says he saw.
Now then, the defense may cross-examine the witness once more.
Great. The night of the murder. Amended. I saw their shadowy silhouettes projected against a ritual curtain.
Hold it!
So what you saw were simply shadows. That's right. Those shadow figures on that bright white curtain. They showed through plain as day. I could see everything that happened. Miss Fey and Abbott Indy were at the top of a mountain late at night. The only light up there was coming from 4 small lanterns. How could the shadows have been projected that clearly onto the curtain? No wonder people harp on you lawyers. You're always so dang skeptical. The lanterns weren't the only source of light, you know. The figures were created by the light of the full moon on that clear and still night. Let me see something here. Wasn't there a news? Oh, there's more. Hang on. So it talks about part of the snow melting. The thick white ice that froze the ground from the inner sanctum of the plaza has melted. The rite can now go on as planned. Okay. A cold front will move in overnight. Still night.
Hold it!
You claim to have seen shadowy figures that were projected onto the ritual curtain. But did you really see them, Mr. Ichmus? Of course I did. The bright moonlight projected them onto that curtain, clear as day. It was like watching a scene out of a horror movie from my front row seat on Mount Pony Pony. I guess the moon does shine a bit brighter when you're way up there. Maya, do you recall how bright the moon was that night? I remember there weren't any clouds, and that moon was definitely out. But I don't remember if it could cast any shadows. Okay, thanks. Can't deny that the moon was really bright, which means it's possible that it was bright enough to cause shadows to appear. Har 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 har! I remember it just like it happened. No, he's full of crap, he's lying. She was just a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse gripping that dagger.
Hold it!
Hang on. How do you know it was Miss Fey if all you saw were shadows? It was that little bun on top of her head. Didn't need to see her face, that distinctive Bob's a dead giveaway. Never underestimate my keen sense of observation. Har 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 har, now that's one funny haircut. It's not nice to make fun of a girl's hairstyle. I like my hair this way. Besides, you're one to talk, you Sasquatch. Ooh, you're not into this wild manly look I'm sporting. Shows what you know, little girl. Har 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 har. Nick, isn't there some kind of crime you can charge him with? I'm afraid it doesn't work that way. Yeah, now he claims he only saw shadows. His testimony is sketchy written all over it. And there must be an inconsistency in there somewhere. Yep. Was he really watching everything from Mount Pony Pony? If so, then I should see how his testimony lines up with the conditions of the rite. A cold front, but I don't know if a cold front, will really affect the moon, though. I'm not sure on that. Let me just Google this just to be sure. Can you see the moon during a cold front? Let's see. Is anything even gonna come up? Okay, not really. I'm not really getting any answers here. Hmm. Damn, what could the answer be? Could the snow have blocked his view? Moon. Oh! How could I not see this? Oh, I see the answer now. I'm stupid. Oh man, the answer was right in front of me and I didn't see it. It's right here. It's when the moon is held directly over the summit of Mount Pony Pony, that's when the ritual happens. But the moon would have been over him. Because he was on Mount Pony Pony, I confused the mountains. Look at, here's the evidence, guys. This is it, here. The full moon is right, that's the smaller mountain right there, Mount Pony Pony. So when the, let me see the map here. Where's the map here again? Yeah, there's that little flame kind of statue thing. So he wouldn't see it if it's...
Objection!
I got it? Yes, I got it. You saw silhouettes projected by the moonlight. Sorry, but that's just not possible. What do you mean? How's it not possible that it was totally possible? That's impossible. I think I'm going to need a logically translation on that. Let's take a look at this rights guide, shall we, Mr. Ichmus? The rite is held when the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pony Pony. Doot doot doot. So if the moon was shining from the west, any shadow would have been cast eastward. But Mr. Ichmus was standing to the west of the inner sanctum on Mount Pony Pony.
Oh, holy mother.
That's right. Our witness here couldn't have seen any shadowy figures on that curtain. No way! Here.
Perhaps it was the sacred flames, the lanterns, that cast the shadows he saw.
I'm afraid not. I inspected them during my investigation, but the flames were too small to cast the crisp and distinct figures Mr. Ichmus claims to have seen. But I did see those silhouettes, really. How could he, Nick? Maybe he was someplace where they were visible. Wait, don't tell me. Your Majesty, Mr. Ichmus really did see those shadows. It brings a brand new fact to light.
And that would be?
The brand new fact that comes to light if Mr. Ichmus really did see those shadows is... he was somewhere else. He wasn't where he claimed to be at the time of the murder. Doot.
Oh? Then where do you propose the witness was?
Someplace where he could have seen the shadowy figures, naturally. Wait. You mean... none of the mountains east of the inner sanctum are close enough for a good view. That leaves only one place he could have clearly seen the shadows from.
And where might that be?
This is where Mr. Ichmus was at the time of the murder. The inner sanctum. It's really the only place I can think of. Not the High Priest's home, it makes no sense. The inner sanctum. Mr. Ichmus was at the inner sanctum, just outside the curtain on the east side. That's the only place from which he could have seen the shadowy figures. Hoo-ha! Really? Wow, I didn't even think of that.
But wasn't the inner sanctum off limits to all but the victim and the accused?
He climbed up there, and the third party was there, you mean? I get the feeling that's a subject Prosecutor Sadmeti would rather not touch right now.
Oh, you mean...
That's right. This witness was at the scene of the crime. Which means he is the mysterious third party we saw during the divination seance. He could be the one dressed as Lady Kee'ra and killed the High Priest. Googie!
What?
Objection.
No one but the two participants were allowed anywhere near the inner sanctum. And the only way up there are the stairs that start down at the Plaza Devotion. So tell me, how do you propose the witness enter the sacred space? Oh, he must have, hadn't thought that far ahead. He climbed up there somehow.
The sanctum has sheer cliffs on 3 sides and a steep towering rock face on the other. No one could have made it there by climbing the faces of those cliffs.
His Majesty speaks true. To say Mr. Ichmus was at such an inaccessible location is but a bit to tarnish his credibility. He's already tarnished his credibility enough himself. Is that not right? Right! I wasn't at the inner sanctum. No sir, no how. At least I'm pretty sure I wasn't.
Hold it!
Then what about those silhouettes you claim to have seen? I'm starting to think I've been imagining things. What? This is insane! I knew we couldn't trust that lawyer. He's the one who's lying in his witness testimony. He's lying.
Peace! Peace, I say!
This is impossible. Unless I can show, how he got to the inner sanctum. It just looks like I'm trying to slander Mr. Ichmus. I believe in you, Nick. Rah rah, sis boomba, fight, fight, Pheonix Wright. Just look at the accused. Has she no shame? What's your problem, lady? Pheonix Wright is very trustworthy, I'll have you know. She's got some nerve for a criminal. I bet that lawyer poisoned her mind. Please, Maya, you're only making it worse. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but it's probably best to keep it to yourself for now.
I would advise the defense to think carefully before making any more sudden outbursts.
Yes, Your Majesty. If I wasn't the bad guy before, I definitely am now. Now, Mr. Infamous, I would like you to think back carefully before you testify next about where you were that night. I wasn't at the Inner Sanctum. I was never at the Inner Sanctum, I tell you. Look at how he's sweating. That much I'm sure of, with a fuzzy memory. Besides, it would have been impossible to get there in the first place. Boy, you lawyers sure are scary. We have to press him. Guess it might have been impossible for him to get to the Inner Sanctum like he claims, but he was there somehow. Now you'd assist in trying to frame this innocent witness. Yeah, I'd like to see you explain how he got up there.
Mr. Wright, is it not time to end these cross-examinations?
A moment of desperation leads to 100 million years of torment. It means that for each moment, a sinner is spent struggling to deny their sins. 100 million years of torment are added to their time in hell. Koreanism is the strictest religion ever. And just so you know, you've already accrued 200 million extra years. Plus the 5 they started with, that's 700 million years. Sure, what's another 200 million, give or take? Well, it's a big deal to me. I can't keep saying that the witness was there at the Inner Sanctum if I can't prove it. The problem is, how am I going to do that? We gotta prove that he was up there. He somehow got up there, but how? How did he do it? There's gotta be an explanation. I wasn't at the Inner Sanctum. I was never at the Inner Sanctum, I tell you. I'm gonna keep pressing. Are you sure you weren't there? All I'm sure of is that you're deeply skeptical. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, are all liars like this? Most certainly. They always try to pin crimes on innocent witnesses without any proof whatsoever. They are no better than bacteria or viruses. Yikes, you mean he's contagious? He's gonna give me lawyer-itis? Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Ooh, that was a close one. He almost put me there at the scene of the crime when I wasn't even there. That much I'm sure of, even with the fuzzy memory.
Hold it!
You said your memory was, you just said your memory was fuzzy. I sure did. What's the big deal? I'll tell you what. Your testimony isn't very credible if your memory of the events is fuzzy. Oh, no worries there. My memory may be funny, but I'm very clear on one thing. Here we go again. If you ask me whether or not I remember what I did that night, I'd say I do.
In short, you are confident your testimony is true. Is that correct, Mr. Infamous?
Har har har! Exactly. Guess you don't get to be a judge for nothing. So in closing, I can clearly say that I was totally not there. Besides, it would have been impossible to get there in the first place.
Hold it!
I wonder if it really was impossible for you to get to the Inner Sanctum. If you have something to say, just say it. Couldn't there have been another way to get there? A way that wouldn't attract attention? No, there isn't. Which means there is.
Perhaps the defense would share its theory with us.
Don't think even have a wild guess, let alone a theory, though. Time to reach into my bag of bluffs. To reach the Inner Sanctum without attracting any attention. He fell from the sky is too ridiculous. Unless he was like on a glider or something. He climbed up the cliff? No one would have noticed if he had scaled up the side of the mountain. He could have snuck in Inner Sanctum that way. Har har har! The cliff face is all loose and crumbly around there. Even a pro mountain climber couldn't have made it up that way. Well, look at what he's wearing! Everyone here in Korea knows that. But let us forgive the defense's ignorance. He is a foreigner after all. Wait! Wait. Could it have been? I know how he did it. He came from a plane or a helicopter or another mountain. He used this as some kind of parachute. That's what the prayer flags are. He used it as a parachute. Why doesn't everyone ever tell me these things? He fell from the sky. That's how he did it. I was thinking that the way he looks like a mountain climber, like the gear that he's wearing. Specifically, he's wearing military gear, he's wearing a shamag, which is a bandana, and he's wearing, you know, mountain goggles too. But what if he's not a mountain climber? What if he's a paratrooper? Please add that to your testimony, Mr. Hang on.
Hold it!
Hang on a second. Let's see if my theory is right. Maybe you fell from the sky. The lawyer thinks he's a comedian now. I was wondering what crazy theory you would propose next. Well, defense, let's hear it. Mr. Ikmas could have, parachuted down. Yeah, we already know the weather was clear, and there was no wind to speak of. Perfect weather for skydiving, I'd say. Now that you have been backed into a corner, your delusions grow even more delusional. The inner sanctum is on a tiny ledge upon a sheer cliff over 2,000 meters tall. He came from the prison. One misstep and a skydiver would soon find themselves in the Twilight Realm. Yeah, I don't care how still the wind was. Even I couldn't have made that jump. Wait. What's this building on top of the Sacred Mountain? We're on the right track now. That's the prison. We're on the right track. He parachuted. That is Royal Penitentiary number 4. Alright. Princess Rafa mentioned there was a prison up there. How do you get your prisoners up there anyways? By helicopter. But only with authorization from the Minister of Justice. He is the one who can approve flights that pass over the inner sanctum. Okay, yes. I'm on the right track. This is the answer. He parachuted. Might I also add defense? That no parachute or any other equipment was necessary for skydiving has been found. No, it's there. It's the prayer flag. Are you saying I flew down there by flapping my arms? I may be an incredible dude, but even I'm not capable of that. No. We got him now. Well, please add that statement to your testimony, Mr. Ikmas. It's not like I can fly through the air either.
Hold it!
You wouldn't need to flap your arms if you had some gear. As I have already stated. Nothing of the sort was found in and around the scene of the crime. Har. I'd sure like to see some of that so-called gear you're talking about. I know. But was there really nothing like that at the inner sanctum? What if there was something that could have been used as a parachute? I should give the evidence another look.
You continue to claim that the witness was at the inner sanctum. Yet said claims shall remain, but a claim without any supporting evidence, Mr. Wright.
Yes, I realize that, Your Majesty. If I can't find any consistencies, I guess I can always try to elicit some more testimony. I don't see a way out of this. No. That we have the answer. But if I suggest the prayer flags were used as a parachute, they might get really mad because that's sacred to their religion. Okay, let me use the prayer flags here. Let's see here. They've been sewn together, these.
Objection!
Yes! I got it. I was right in my theory. He did parachute down. Mr. Ikmas is right. He couldn't have skydived down there without any gear. Well now, finally come around, have you? Now you see that I couldn't have possibly been there at the inner sanctum. Right. If you didn't have any gear, that is. What on earth are you talking about? That overreaction is a dead giveaway that I'm on the right track. Take a look at this piece of evidence.
Those are prayer flags, are they not?
Yes, but they have been sewn together to create one big banner, a banner that could also function like a parachute. Polkunka. The people of Karain are so used to seeing prayer flags that the police didn't even think twice about these flags during their investigation. No, this cannot be. The witness landed at the inner sanctum by using these prayer flags as a parachute. Is that not right, Mr. Ichmus? There's no way out, I'm surrounded. Mr. Ichmus? He's the escaped convict. All this talk's jogged my memory. I guess I was there at the inner sanctum after all. Brr. He's the escaped prisoner, that's him. He's dressed just like a rebel. As I suspected, there were 3 people there that night. You did it, Nick. You weren't wrong after all. Thanks. Mr. Ichmus, you were the one disguised Lady Kee'ra that night, weren't you? What? No way, no how. It's like this, oh yeah. I was only there at the inner sanctum by accident. By accident? Exactly. And that thing's not a parachute. It's a homemade paraglider. A paraglider? Are you telling me you could fly using that patchwork mess of a material? It may not look like much, but it's as sturdy as it can be. I rode the wind like an eagle, going higher and higher from my earthly launching point. But then something happened that forced me to land at the inner sanctum. So you just happened to land there? You expect me to believe that?
Now, please calm yourself, Mr. Wright.
No, we're right to be pissed.
However, the fact that the witness was at the inner sanctum is crucial testimony indeed. And it certainly warrants further explanation. Therefore, let's continue with more testimony.
Why I was at the inner sanctum. That evening, I was enjoying a trek through the night sky with my homemade paraglider. But just as Mount Pony was drawing near, something terrible happened. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the inner sanctum. As I landed, I banged my head, causing me to lose my memory. So you see, I ended up at the inner sanctum purely by accident. Mr. Ichmus, you failed to mention any of this during your pre-trial questioning. Can't be helped. I mean, I'm just remembering it now. Continue such slipshod testimony, and you will be cast into the hell of hangnails, where you shall have hangnails grown and ripped out for 800 million years. Hoo-ha! I think I'll pass on that. Looks like that caught Prosecutor Sadmati off guard. This is my chance to rip his case to shreds. Okay, this is it. This is the final testimony. Why I was at the inner sanctum. That evening, I was enjoying a trek through the night sky with my homemade paraglider.
Hold it!
You were enjoying a trek through the night sky with your homemade paraglider. And here's the thing is, the rebels want to overthrow the Karain government. So the rebels aren't going to have respect for the Karainese culture and the Karainese religion and the Karainese customs that they want to overthrow the system entirely. So those prayer flags are sacred. So only a rebel would use those prayer flags as a glider. You didn't go to pray. A devout Karainist like me can pray anywhere, even while flying through the sky. But I wouldn't recommend you try it. You're bound to end up dead. Har 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 har! A paraglider. I didn't see anything like that. That's because of the ritual curtain. It blocked your view. You should see me majestically soaring between the mountains. Really? What do you think, Nick? Don't ask me. Har har! I was really enjoying that flight. At first, anyway. But just as Mount Pony was drawing near, something terrible happened.
Hold it!
Something terrible happened. Exactly. And when I say terrible, I mean terrible. What was there something unexpected near Mount Pony? What was it again? Wait, you don't remember? Let's just say it was terrible. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the inner sanctum.
Hold it!
What exactly was this accident you had? Good question. Now, what was it again? Wind? Oh yeah, it was the wind. And not just any wind, but a sudden gale force wind. Made me lose control. The wind was strong enough to make you lose control. You got that right. Okay then, please add that to your testimony. Gale force winds came out of nowhere, so I made an emergency landing at the sanctum. Calm, clear skies. Calm, clear skies. The newspaper. Let's see if this works.
Objection!
I got him. We have a saying in my country, Mr. Ikmas. From one lie sprouts another. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? It means someone caught lying will lie again in an attempt to conceal their first lie. In other words, this current testimony is just a blatant lie you're telling to cover your tracks. What did you just say? You claimed that gale force winds caused you to lose control. But this newspaper has a weather report for the day of the murder. It says, the area around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear skies today. Yeah, I love this music kicking in. We're on the right track. Polkunka!
Why, I do believe it says that.
From one lie sprouts another. That makes sense, but is it really saying, back home? I've never heard of it. Yeah, I kind of made that one up. For real? Your Majesty, the witness's testimony contains another flaw. One that's even more fatal to his, cause.
More fatal, you say? The defense will explain himself at once.
Mr. Ikmas claimed he was flying up and around the inner sanctum with his paraglider. But it would have been impossible to get all the way up there without any wind.
Why, yes, I believe you're right. But we know the witness was at the inner sanctum, so... Mr. Ikmas, how did you get there, and from where?
He's the escaped prisoner. Without any wind, he couldn't have flown up there from the bottom of the mountain. By process of elimination. The only starting point it makes any sense is... Your Majesty, I believe I have the answer to your question. To reach the inner sanctum, Mr. Amos must have launched himself from here. The prison.
Take that!
Hooah! Are you insane?
That's where he came from?
If he couldn't have come from below, the only option from above. So you see, at noon, Ikmas came down from Royal Penitentiary number 4. From there, he could have easily reached the inner sanctum by parachute. And that means he might have also killed the High Priest.
What?
Mr. Ikmas, were you the third party at the inner sanctum? And the one behind the warning to halt the right that the victim received? Was it you, we saw in his final memory? Are you the rebel hunter, Lady Kee'ra? No, he's a rebel. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha-ha. He's the escaped rebel. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sir, help me out here. You did it. You finally left him speechless. Oh, come on, prosecutor man. Quiet, you fool. You should use this time to prepare yourself for what is to come. For a fate far worse than hangnail hell awaits you now. Well done, defense. I must concede this point to you. The witness did, in fact, descend to the inner sanctum from Royal Penitentiary number 4. Huh? He didn't even put up a fight this time. That's awfully generous of him. But if you are as perceptive as you seem, then surely you've already figured out the riddle. The riddle of Anonymous' true identity. Oh, his true identity. Not sure I know quite yet, but I guess I'll have to answer with something.
It would seem I am the only one still in the dark here. Would the defense care to enlighten me? Who is this man who's been calling Ikmas?
Anonymous! Anonymous! That's what his name is supposed to mean. Anonymous! That's his name. Anon Ikmas. Anonymous! That's what his name is supposed to mean. The witness's true identity is... A wanted poster describing the escaped criminal mentions a sizable reward. This guy. Is this really him? Only now do you realize the truth. Well, please do share with us your belated insight. What's wrong, Nick? Why are you holding back? Because this isn't going to be very helpful to our case. Really? Are you sure? Unfortunately, I've got no other choice. That scruffy beard and shaggy mane completely threw me off. But it's all becoming clear now. The nighttime base jump from the mountaintop prison. The precise precision landing at the inner sanctum using only a homemade parachute. Only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper could have pulled that off. And right, and his description says that he's a former paratrooper. Former paratrooper of a foreign land. I completely forgot about that. So yeah, so I was right. He was a paratrooper, but I forgot that the escaped prisoner was also a paratrooper too. But I did call it early, that he was the escaped convict, so I got that. This witness is That's Arbal, a prison escapee and key member of Dirk's rebel group.
What?
Gaha!
The witness is an escaped prisoner.
Precisely. The police have been scouring every corner of the city to no avail. Meanwhile, here he was under our noses the entire time.
Hoo-ha!
Don't think anyone would see through my clever disguise. Hehehe. Well, the witness's charade is not all that has been shattered. Is it? Defense. Boy, do I hate this guy. Please recall the defense's own words. Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the High Priest. The letter said, do not perform the rite. But the rite went on a schedule. I believe that is why the High Priest was murdered.
Who do you suppose sent that letter?
A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised Lady Kee'ra herself. He claimed that the real killer was the rebel hunter disguised Lady Kee'ra. Yeah, and what's your point? What of the witness's true identity? Only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper could have pulled that off. This witness is That's Arbal. That's Arbal? What's that supposed to mean? That's Arbal. That's Arbal? Prison escapee member at Dirk's rebel group. Gasp, oh no. He is a rebel, and an escaped prisoner. He could not possibly have been Lady Kee'ra's mortal enemy of the... He could not have possibly have been Lady Kee'ra, mortal enemy of the rebels. No! Now, perhaps the witness will enlighten us to the truth. After all, he has yet to refute any of this. Hoo-ha! You got me. He's talking like a soldier when he says that, too. I'm the razor-sharp fangs of the defiant dragons. That's horrible. When did you get your memory back? Oh, around the time you guys were talking about there being no wind. But you gotta give me credit for making up all that testimony at the top of my head. Are you prepared to tell us the truth now? Well, it's true I parachuted down to the inner sanctum. But I banged my head on impact and ended up unconscious outside the ritual curtain. In short, all my eyewitness testimony was a big fat lie. A big fat lie? Oh, and by the way, long time no see, Yuddy. Wait, they know each other? Your Majesty. This filthy rebel belongs in a jail cell.
Oh yes, of course. Bailiff, seize him at once.
Seems you really have forgotten the will of the dragon, huh, Yuddy? But I haven't, and no dogs of the Garen regime are gonna lay a finger on me. Alley-oop. Deploy all available resources. I want all units placed on high alert.
The escaped prisoner escaped again.
The police force has been placed on high alert. He will be caught before long. An escaped prisoner who's escaped the law again after giving a ton of false testimony. Talk about a troublemaker, but he seems to know Prosecutor Sadmati. He really pulled a number on all of us. What was the point of all that anyway?
Well, I can't help but feel the entire episode was an enormous waste of time.
Well, his testimony was a giant waste of time. Your Majesty. Perhaps it was not as great of a waste as you might believe.
What makes you say that, Prosecutor Sadmati?
That's Arabo dropped something as he made his escape from these halls. That scrap of paper looks awfully familiar. These appear to be direct orders from Dirk.
From Dirk, the rebel leader. Oh, but we only have a small corner of it.
Wait, I remember now. Your Majesty, I've seen that scrap of paper before.
You have?
The scrap of paper that's Arabo dropped is a part of this. The blood-stained letter?
Take that!
And this is?
I found it at the scene of the crime. It appears to be a copy of the order that Mr. Arabal dropped. If we put the two together, we should be able to read what the order says.
Oh my! And just what does it say, Mr. Wright?
I can't read Kuranese.
Ah, Prosecutor Sadmati, if you please.
The ignorant lawyer is not yet bothered to learn our language. Very well then. I do not understand. Well, what does it say? Using the lamplights as a landmark, he was to parachute down to the inner sanctum. Upon the rite's completion, he was to don Lady Kee'ra's robes and make his escape.
What? That is how he was to escape from prison?
So, if I were to assume that Mr. Arabal was the one who killed the High Priest, then maybe it was because Abbot Inmi tried to thwart his escape plan. Oh, foul lawyer. I'm afraid that is simply ludicrous. Huh? But I didn't say anything. Did he just read my mind? I know how your putrid mind works. Unfortunately for you, however, now that the rebels' escape plan has been revealed, it is clear that Dats Arabal is not the High Priest's killer. How can you be so sure? If only you would use that putrid brain of yours every once in a while. That's Arabal's plan could not have worked without the help of a certain individual. What do you mean? I'm speaking of Abbot Inmi, of course. Had Dats Arabal simply donned Lady Kee'ra's robes and made his escape alone, he would have been far too conspicuous. But were he by the High Priest's side, the faithful citizens praying in the plaza would have had no cause to suspect anything. It is therefore unthinkable that Dats Arabal was a High Priest's killer. So are you saying the High Priest was a rebel, that he was going to help him escape?
So, then you're saying the High Priest was a... Oh, I cannot bear to say it.
I'm afraid it is so. He is numbered among the rebels who threatened our kingdom.
How could this be?
High Priest? A rebel? So he was a rebel. There must be some kind of mistake.
Talk to them!
Let it go and move on. Accept the truth. It is the only way. And that goes double for you, defense. Cease your futile battle now. And why should I? Because I will now put the final nail in the coffin of the accused. Now that we have eliminated Dats Arabal from our list of suspects, there's only one person that still remains, the accused, Maya Fey.
Hold it!
Hold it right there. Aren't you forgetting something important?
Something important? Please do explain, defense.
We can't end this trial without looking into... The third party. I'm talking about the true identity of the Lady Kee'ra we saw in the seance vision. If that wasn't That's Arable, then who was it?
Objection.
That matter has already been resolved. It has? What's he talking about? It is as I had maintained from the start. There was no third party in the seance vision.
Objection.
But there was another Lady Kee'ra there besides Maya Fey. We all saw her. What the? I can't do my finger point. What? It is time to let it go and move on. Your fate has already been sealed, much like your arm. This hardly seems fair. It is quite simple once you consider where the victim and the accused were at the time. If the victim was near the spring with his back to the accused, what would he see ahead? Besides the water itself,
There is nothing but the warped statue.
precisely. The Lady Kee'ra we saw in the seance is the warped statue draped in her sacred robes. No way! The accused wanted the false Lady Kee'ra to appear in the seance vision. Before she came from behind and stabbed the victim with a dagger in a reverse grip. Where's your evidence for this?
But why would the accused want to do something like creating a false Lady Kee'ra?
To show it to the victim as he was being slain. But you haven't caused a motive. You haven't said why.
And what reason would the accused have to fool the victim she was about to kill?
It was not the victim she was trying to fool. It was this very court itself.
Come again?
Suspicion would not fall on the accused if it looked as if another Lady Kee'ra was there. And the defense was foolish enough to fall for it and claim it was a third party in disguise.
Are you saying...
I am. It was all a cleverly wicked scheme perpetrated by the accused. A scheme in which she sought to use the seance vision to mislead us. This can't be happening. What a face you are making, defense. I'm surprised you are taking this so hard. After all, did I not clearly state a while back that you were chasing after not but a deluded fantasy? Heh. Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. You're telling me he knew that this is how it would turn out all the way back then, and this is, and that he was just waiting for the most effective moment to spring it on me? Heh. Do you understand now? I have had you dancing in the palm of my hand this entire time. It can't be.
This is an outrage! You took our royal priestess' sacred divination seance, and used it to commit this most foul and despicable murder?
No, I did nothing of the sort. Maya. Nick. It's not true. I didn't.
Objection.
Cease this ugly display. Your fate is sealed after the facts have been exposed. Your Majesty. The time has come to convict this criminal who only seeks to taint this sacred hall.
Indeed. It seems this trial is over.
Hold it!
Does the defense wish to offer up yet another counter-argument or something?
The accused is, not the killer. And, here's why. What do I do? I've got nothing.
It would appear that the defense has run out of arguments to make.
Thought for sure that Rebel was the killer. The only person with a possible motive, the one dressed as Lady Kee'ra, has vanished. And I've got nothing to use against Prosecutor Sagmati's argument. Damn it. I can't lose now. Not like this.
Very well then, I shall now render my verdict.
Wait! Please wait. I'm begging you. It is time to let it go and move on.
The trial need not be drawn any longer. The defense has failed to counter the charge filled by the prosecution. In accordance with the law, I invoke the Defense Culpability Act against the defense. Now then, This court finds the accused Maya Fey, and the defense Pheonix right.
What am I supposed to do now? Crap, was this how it's supposed to end? Did I choose the wrong choice? Your Majesty, please forgive the interruption, but...
What is the meaning of this?
A body has been found. In the Plaza of Devotion, Your Majesty. What's this? A body. What happened now? And we found this, sticking out of the victim.
Why, that's Lady Kee'ra's warp dagger.
Lady Kee'ra, she has returned from the Twilight Realm once more. She has come to defeat the rebels. Who's the victim? Who's dead?
Peace.
Well, it would seem the dagger that was once lost has now been found. I have one more thing to report, Prosecutor Sad Maddie. Yes? This dagger. And also, look at how he's carrying his rifle. It looks a lot like an STG-44, but you see how his finger is not directly in the trigger guard? When a soldier does that, you can tell that they're a trained soldier. They know how to properly carry their firearm. This dagger, it bears the fingerprints of Maya Fey on it. What? But... Why would Maya's prints be on it? I cannot believe it, yet it must be true.
Is something the matter, Prosecutor Sad Maddie?
This trial has run its course, and the accused's guilt has been firmly established. However, it would seem the defense was right about one thing. I was? You claim that the murder at the Inner Sanctum had been carried out by the rebel hunter masquerading as Lady Kee'ra. I did say something to that effect, but what of it?
Prosecutor Sad Maddie, are you suggesting what I think you are?
I believe the true identity of the rebel hunter who has been masquerading as Lady Kee'ra is none other than the accused, Miss Maya Fey. What? What? Me?
What?
I realize how shocking this must seem. Looking back, however, I now realize there was much that pointed to this fact. The rebel-hunting Lady Kee'ra was first sighted about 2 years ago, and the accused first came to our kingdom 2 years ago as well.
Well, why the timing matches perfectly.
But there is more. That warning letter was found in the High Priest's bedroom 3 days before the rite. Despite his house being locked up tight that night.
Objection!
How does that prove anything?
Objection!
He's gonna say because Maya stayed there. It's difficult to believe an intruder could have found a way to enter such a secure house. However, the accused was known to come and go freely there. Mainly to prepare for the purification rite. That Abbot Indy was an important figure with a ton of duties, including training acolytes. He was really kind, even to a foreigner like me. He even, invited me over to his house whenever I was between training sessions. The accused could have easily left the house unlocked for herself without anyone noticing. No! Only someone capable of entering the priest's home could have delivered it. Then it has to be... I know who did it then. I know who left a letter there. We only have 2 other people that could have done it. It only could have been an apprentice priest living in the high priest's home. He's like part of the family. It could have also been Pere Zealot or his wife. So one of these 2, either it's Zealot or the wife, is the Lady Kee'ra Vigilante. Only one of them is it can only be one of them. If we assume the accused was Lady Kee'ra, that more than establishes her motive for killing the High Priest.
Yes, the victim was secretly an insurgent, bent on helping Datsa Arabol escape after all.
Precisely, that made him a target of Lady Kee'ra's wrath. And after killing the High Priest, she then unleashed her divine justice on another rebel. so it seems the scope of this case has expanded. We now have 2 murders perpetrated by Miss Maya Fey masquerading as Lady Kee'ra. Well, who was murdered? Who was the second person killed?
If Miss Fey is indeed a serial killer, it would affect the severity of her punishment. In light of this, I believe the second murder must be investigated before we can proceed.
As you wish, Your Registry. Maya Fey, I hereby charge you with the second murder. May your defiled soul feel the weight of your sins. A new murder charge on top of a guilty verdict.
It seems the defense will live to see one more day.
Talk about hanging on by a thread. Heh. Come tomorrow. A far more terrible punishment awaits you.
I hereby suspend these proceedings so that the second murder may be investigated. Until the conclusion of this new investigation, this court is adjourned.
Well, this case has taken a bunch of twists. To be continued. So I will have the next part up much quicker. It won't take like a week like this other part, guys. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this part. If you did, drop a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.